All right. Well, the reason we're here today is to highlight the great work you and the team are doing at Moseka Action Project. So
Mhm.
let's kind of start at the beginning. What is the backstory that inspired you to found Moseka Action Project?
Rachel, I am originally from Congo, so I was born and raised in Congo, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, because there is two Congo, and I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, right after college, I did some volunteer work in a big hospital. It's called Panzi Hospital. That was founded by the Nobel Peace Prize, Dr. Mukwege. And at that time, the hospital had a particularity. Most of the patients there were women survival of rape because it was a kind during a post-conflict moment in the Congo. There has been an ongoing situation of armed conflict in Congo, so it's on and off. So the time I went there, it was one of those post-conflict moments.
Right.
And there were just a lot of women that I met in Panzi Hospital that were victim of sexual violence. And I spent, I think, about 2 months in the hospital. And of course, as you know it, rape always has consequences.
Mm-hmm.
You can get sick, you can get some STD, you can get pregnant. And in the case of Congo, some can die as well. But one thing in particular just really caught my heart was to see those who were having kids.
Mm-hmm.
There were those kids were children that didn't have any father figure in their lives. So they were just staying there in the hospital to the point that the hospital had to build another center. It was called Maison d'Orcas, where the women could stay with their children for a moment so they could figure out what to do with them.
Right.
And that's where I was doing my volunteering work to kind of have those
Mm.
women, yeah, find their ways and to be reinserted in the society. So the children really captured my heart, and I was like, what's the future for those children? What's the future for them? Because number one, they don't have any father figure. Number two, their moms are rejected by the society.
Mm. Gosh.
Number three, them themselves are also rejected by the society because they are considered as a curse. So at the end of my volunteering time in Panzi, I left the Congo. I went to France, and then after France, I got married. I moved to the United States, but that really stayed in my heart. I knew I had to do something until the day that I started thinking of, and I realized that if nothing is done for those kids, they can be a potential danger for the country because poverty or conflict, it's like a circle. If it's not resolved or if we don't cut off the tide, it's just gonna repeat itself. So
Ah.
those kids that don't have any reference, they don't have, they are not accepted by the society. Most of them, they live with anger
Mm.
and the resentment in their heart. Easily, they can turn into thief. Easily, they can turn into the next group of rebels,
Ah.
or they can even be um, enrolled in those rebels group to become a soldier because most of the time when there is a conflict in Congo, those rebels they use kids as well.
Ah.
They use kids, yeah. So I figured out that one of the best way to really help to do my part in helping beyond development of a human being, but to also contribute to peace in my country
Mm-hmm.
will be to really work with those children
So
to
beautiful.
prevent them to become the next generation of rebels.
Mm.
And that's really something that I felt compared in my heart, that really God put in my heart that I had to do. And that's how Moseka started. That's how
Oh,
I came with the idea of starting Moseka. Most of the kids that we have are children um, born offsprings of rape or themselves as being victims. So we have all that. And we try to go, we also go beyond that. We don't only have the children, but when the child has a mentor or a guardian or a mother, we try to work as well with the mother or the guardian to have that person become economically independent while we are working with the children, providing education.
so beautiful. Gosh,
Mhm.
so beautiful. It's just, yeah. And then this is, the reason that I really wanted to have you on to highlight and spotlight the work that Mosaic is doing. And obviously you can't do it alone. Let's start here. What does Mosaic mean?
Moseka, I get this question all the time. Some people ask me, what does Moseka stand for? Moseka doesn't stand for anything. It has a meaning, just like you said. Moseka in the Congolese, it means young, beautiful, but also it means a virgin. Now, naming the organization Moseka is really a way of giving those children a new identity.
Oh, oh, so beautiful.
It doesn't matter how you came into this world. It doesn't matter what happened to you or to your mom. Trust me, God sees you as a Moseka, as whole, as a virgin. And that's at the moment where you grasp that thought in you, that's the new beginning for you. And that's what we're trying to do with Moseka, just to give them a second chance of a new life.
Ah, yes, so beautiful. Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, wanting to hear more about, I know that Mosaic, right, and you've really are doing a lot right now. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you've kind of put these into three different programs. You've got a Dream Come True, Family Empowerment Program, and Fearfully and Wonderfully Made.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you give us like an example of each of those and maybe a child or a mother or guardian that goes with that and how that has impacted their lives?
When we first started Moseka 5 years ago, I'll talk about first the a dream come true. When we first started Moseka 5 years ago, and it was back to school day, I received the pictures of the Moseka kids, and one child caught my eye. His name is Elia, or you can say Elijah in English, but in Swahili they call him Elia.
Okay.
And that little boy he just had that presence of someone who wanted something for his life. His uniform was well ironed, and he put like a pen in the pocket here, like an executive officer. When I looked at that boy, I was like, this boy will do something with his life. He just needed tools.
Right.
And I kid you not, Rechelle, this boy has been among the best students we have at Moseka.
Oh.
Yes, and he always like get good grades, and it's very encouraging. And it's funny because I think 2 or 3 years later, no, I think last year, as we were preparing for Moseka 5th anniversary, we asked all the kids what they wanted to be when they grow up. And that little boy answered and said that he wants to be the next president of Congo. I'm like, okay, dream big, young man, dream big. And I just realized that the feeling that I had about him was correct. He's someone who really, he's ambitious. And what I like about Elia, he doesn't take Moseka for granted.
Oh, wow.
He understands that this is a new beginning for me, and I need to make something out of my life.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Gosh.
Yes.
And I also noticed that some of his story is on your website, which was
I
really,
think so. I think so. I think so.
yes,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
inspiring to read about it.
Mhm,
Okay, what
mhm.
about family empowerment program?
Yeah, family empowerment program. That's the program for the mom for economic independence. I was saying there is a lady. I think her name is Nabintu, because we have so many of them now. But Nabintu was one of our first ladies, and her testimony really touched me. She not only talked about herself, but she also talked about her granddaughter, because I think she's a guardian of her granddaughter who is part of Moseka. She said never in her life could her ever imagine that her granddaughter will go to school and
Mm,
be in the condition that Moseka is putting her.
mm,
Uh, that's for her, it's really an answer from God.
mm,
He used to see other kids going to those good schools. That never even crossed her mind that one day she could have someone, going to the same school.
wow.
She was really touched. And then she is also doing great in her business and happy taking care of the granddaughter. Yeah.
That's
That
wonderful.
those are the kind of things that when you see the results, it keeps you the stamina to keep going.
Right. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Fearfully and Wonderfully Made?
Yeah, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. I think you might know him, Danny. We have a child. Fearfully and Wonderfully Made started with him because Danny also was an offspring of rape, but it happened to be a child with albinism. And albinism in most African countries is seen as something obscure, like bizarre, like supernatural. People believe that albinos have some supernatural powers, and so some people can even kill albinos just to get some of the part of their bodies to do some,
Oh, gosh.
incantation over it, and things of that nature, just you know, because they believe in witchcraft and things like that.
Mm,
So that little boy, number one, he has an offspring of rape. He's not already welcome in the society, and on top of that, being an albino
mm-hmm.
was really hard. Uh, when we took him in Moseka, he was, I think, 3 years old, or three or four, because he started preschool at Moseka. And today, Danny, he's really thriving.
Is
And
what?
he's really thriving in life, Danny.
Oh.
Yes. And then now, today, through Danny, we have many, many other children with albinism that we have in Moseka. That some of them are even adults in different places of Congo that we support through that program. Yes. It's just amazing how God can use one person. I mean, I believe through Daniel became a blessing to many other people in his condition without
Right.
knowing. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's just So, so beautiful. I mean, it's so interesting, talking with you. I have two things happening at one time, and that is the absolute heartbreak. And, I just want to you know, rip my garments and cry, the whole sackcloth from biblical days. And then on the other hand,
Mhm.
I'm filled with such inspiration and so much hope at the possibilities of what can be through Moseka and people who actually want to help and want to show up and make a difference. And
Mhm.
I'm so grateful that, often we feel a nudge or we feel something, but we don't always act on it. We sometimes just go, oh, yeah, but you sort of fantasize or you think, oh, that would be good. But then
Mhm.
taking that and making it possible, making it happen. And you do that remote. I mean, meaning
Mhm.
you are not in the Congo, you are
Mhm.
US and you somehow make it happen. Now, obviously, you have a whole team of people. I'm so curious, one, about your team, like how many people does it take to make this happen? And then how many kids and then moms slash guardians are you able to serve? And then we'll get to the next part of it.
Yes, here in the States, I have a team of about 15 volunteers,
Wow.
all yeah, scattered in America. We all work remotely. We all work remotely. In the Congo, sorry,
No problem.
in the Congo, I have a team of 7 people that run because we have um 4 centers in the Congo.
Oh my gosh.
One in Goma and one in Kamanyola, one in Panzi, and one in Kaziba. Yeah, so and in the Congo, we have a total of 152 kids that we support. Yes, 52
Wow.
kids that we support so far. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. I just had no idea about the numbers.
Yeah.
That just feels like to me a lot from something you started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I imagine the need is great. So are the 7 people running those 4 centers?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And is it hard to recruit people to help on that end of things?
I
There?
mean, I think that the hardest part is here in the US because Moseka is a volunteer-based nonprofit. So people need to be willing to give out their time to serve and to give back to the community. And nowadays, it's kind of hard to find people who are equipped and willing to give some of their time. Most of the time, like, oh, I like it, you have a great mission, but I just can't commit. I'm so busy with my work and life, and that's the hardest part.
Okay.
We do have some position um that still need to be filled, and until now, we can't find anyone. We can't find anyone. So,
And that's
uh,
here in the US, you're having a hard time
here,
finding somebody? Okay, here.
yes,
Right.
yes, yes. In the Congo, because those who work in the Congo are considered staff. But
Yes.
here in the US, we are all volunteer, and
Right.
it's
Right.
really hard to find a volunteer willing to commit time, especially for you know a volunteer-based nonprofits. Yeah,
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
just. Mhm.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just pray and hope that one day we'll be maybe able to have position where we can pay, and I'm sure that day we will not miss anyone. You know, yeah, we will have tons and tons of candidates, but for the moment we are just we are on a mission. This is
Right.
more of a ministry. To me, Moseka is really a ministry. I we anyone who join Moseka understand that this is a ministry. We're doing this for God, um, serving God through serving people. Basically, that's what it is. Yeah.
Right. Beautiful. Okay. So it sounds like one of the biggest challenges, well, here in the US is finding volunteers. And then there
Yeah.
in Congo, the biggest challenge is, I would imagine, like stability,
Increasing number, increasing number
increasing numbers. Okay.
of children and women because the needs always grows, and especially in this season, I can't even imagine what's gonna happen in like next school year. The needs will explode.
As we were talking about before, we sort of hopped onto the recording.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot more conflict and a lot more towns have been taken over, is what we were discussing. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't tend to see that in the news feed. I don't know, yeah, why that's not more widely reported. And, I like to say you don't know what you don't know. So if we're not talking about it, if we're not putting it out there, then how is anybody going to know about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why I'm really grateful for Unabashed You, because it's the opportunity to get the word out so people can grasp and understand the needs and have an idea of what Moseka really does, because there has been an ongoing armed conflict in Congo for the past 30 years. And
Hmm.
this year, since December, I think, since December, things has just gone south. It's crazy. The rebel who are now controlling most of the eastern part of Congo, they are becoming stronger and stronger. And as a matter of fact, all our four centers of Moseka are in the towns are really now under the controls of rebels.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
yeah. So
Oh,
we are now like dealing with victim um, and dealing with hunger because people have nowhere to buy food, nowhere to, uh, there's not really much business going on out there. Uh, and the level of insecurity is just crazy. It's just crazy. So we are kind of recording numbers every day of incidents that are happening.
right.
Yeah. So,
Mm,
but I'm really anticipating like once this, I don't know when, we praying God for a positive outcome that many lives will be spared. Um, but I can already anticipate that the number of the children that will be either uh, victim or orphans will go high.
right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just hardly know what to say. It's like, it's back to the heartbreaking side for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How can people get involved? People who hear about Mosaica and all the great work being done there, how can they come alongside you to be helpful?
I mean, there's so many ways to reach out. They can reach out Rachel. um, they can reach out to our Facebook or Instagram page or our website, Moseka Action Project.org. Um, send an email. There's so many ways that we can connect so we can all come together and see what we can do. Because I really think that from the moment that people can sit together and think about like, okay, this is happening now. What can we do?
Right, right,
Finding the people that can sit on the table with you and decide what can we do? What are we putting on the table? I mean, it's hard, but when it's happened, it's beautiful because we understand that we are on a mission.
Yes.
And Winnie Moseka is open to anyone who has the heart to serve those in need, especially victims, to reach out to join us. We're going to have a great conversation and see how we can be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Right. It's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we found all, oh, well, you mentioned all the ways you can, Mosaic can be found, and I will be sure and include that. And is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
Um, Thank you, Rachel, because this is like you said, the Congo issue is not really covered that much in the media. Um, and having the opportunity to sit down and talk about Congo, I know even if it's just two people, three, four, five who listen to this podcast, they will understand and know what's happening in the Congo.
Right.
Because change has to start with one person, you know,
Oh,
getting the word out, and that person can also bring another person, and the other
oh,
person bring another person, and so on. A lot of people are more interested in what they can get from Congo in terms of minerals, but
mm,
not much about what can we do,
right,
because Congo has a lot to offer to the world. But what can the world offer to Congo so we can have that peace?
right.
And I'm really grateful, Rachel, that we could have that moment of unabashed you,
Yeah,
talking with our hearts,
yes,
the just to put the word out there so people know and understand,
right.
especially during this month of March, which is a Women Month. Um, Talking about women issues in the Congo is very critical. Yeah,
Yes.
and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's my pleasure. Again, so important to get the word out there to let people know what is being done on behalf of the children, on behalf of the women who have, I mean, nobody signed up for this. That's the heartbreaking part. Makes me, it just makes me want to cry, that just the tragedy and the pain and the suffering of it all. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, again, filled with so much hope and
Mm-hmm.
potential for some healing with
Yes.
people standing up, like you were talking about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
standing up. And I don't think it takes that much to be helpful. And the need
Yeah.
is great. And yeah, I feel extraordinarily privileged to be your friend and to know of the work you are doing, and to come alongside it and, try to be a little trumpet
You
about.
are a blessing to us, Rachel. You are a blessing.
Oh, thank you, Bijou.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all your
Yes.
time
Yeah.
and letting us know. Thank you.